split, but I'm wondering if NIP is going to take away that Annie, which is something that Yukao has been heavily relying on. So the next upcoming mid jungle duo will be that Wukong and Ahri. So we'll have to see which one TT prioritizes. We have seen a lot of teams actually prioritizing the Ahri as that first pick, so we'll have to see what Yukao does prefer, but it does allow for a lot of these AD carries to be left open, and Aphelios is definitely something that Photic is more than happy to take himself.
I was hoping maybe the Cassante comes through as the first pick to try to get something going for this top lane matchup, but it is the Wukong, so definitely giving a meta priority over to this new jungle.
Yeah, I feel like Xiaohuan, something that he is very comfortable on is that Wukong, but my biggest question is when Wukong is kind of gone from the pool. Ooh, that is the Azir getting locked in for the side of TT. I am so excited because this is a traditional counter to Ahri that can keep this champion in lane when she so desperately wants to look for those roams. So I'm really excited for this series, Mazel, as we also have the Zeri versus the Aphelios in the bottom lane. Who's getting the Lulu, I wonder?
Who'd have thought? This is also one of Yukao's, or it is his most played champion by far. Has a plus 50% win rate at least on it, but it's definitely leaning to comfort for Yukao, which we've seen such flexibility from Yukao, not only in this last split, but this one in particular as well. I think he's been willing to kind of flex this mid-meta a little bit.
Yeah, most definitely. And I also highlighted how I personally prefer Yukao on something that is very strong in terms of the side lane push, but he is obviously very comfortable with control mages like the Orianna, like the Azir, and especially the Azir slowly seeking back into the meta as that answer to Ahri. I'm going to be very excited to see how he kind of teams up with Xiaohuan, as he is also on his comfort champion, which is in the Wukong. So it's all about those chokes for TT so far, but what is going to get banned out, because we focused on the top lane matchup between Invincible and Hoya, where I think both of these players are quite flexible in terms of what they're willing to bring out. We've seen the Gwen from both of them. Jax is something that Invincible is very happy to take. So if they save the counter pick for Invincible, it could give Hoya a beating, as Cassante is still back up.
Truly is, as we have the Lulu and the Kennen ban by NIP. We have that Gnar ban towards the top lane matchup, and definitely trying to whittle that down a little bit for the side lane pressure. It is the Jax that finally comes out for TT, and now we'll see what the actual addition to this bot lane duo is going to be, as I expect Invincible to have that counter.
This Kennen ban does signify that Invincible is looking for something like the Gnar. I believe he also has a pretty good win rate on it so far, 60 win rate or so. It is going to naturally be the Aphelios and Nautilus combo, where it can force a lot of those bot lane dives. I'm going to be pretty surprised if Yaya locks in the Alistar. Something like the Braum would be much more preferred, as it is going to be a great champion up against the Poppy and the Nautilus, as you do have that counter position. But if NIP wants to go for the Gnar, what is going to be Hoya's answer? Cassante vs Gnar could potentially be the top lane matchup for this game one.
It could be. I think the most important part so far in the draft is that we have gotten these kind of potentially mobile supports for both Zhuo and Yao Yao. So getting a stable lane state and getting out onto the map to rejoin with Shadow and Xiaohuan Gran. I think that's super important. Now, this pick finally makes it all the way through to the 5th pick of TT's blue side. It is the Cassante. There's a lot of picks that are available into it, and there's one we've seen tried and true. It is the Gwen for Invincible.
I love Invincible playing carry champions, as Draw locking in something that is the melee support does make up for that lack of engage and allows Invincible to start dealing that DPS in those team fights. But looking at both of these drafts, I feel like TT is very stock and standard. They have really good frontline and relatively good scaling in the terms of this Azir, while Zeri, yes, she's become sort of short TPS because of her new build with the Triforce and the Hurricane, but I feel like the wave clear is absolutely insane. So NIP, if they can't get a Baron, it's going to be impossible to siege this TT composition.
It is something they have been opting into, though, are those aggressive 2v2s between mid-jungle and using that to propel themselves forward. And they'll be looking to take advantage of newly minted jungler Xiaohuan Ren. And I think that's super important to kind of keep an eye on here, because he is a very aggressive jungler in his own right coming up. And having spent a lot of time with TT Young, even though he had spent about a year and a half off before this. So I'm really excited to see a second series from him and how he can adapt to this one, especially against a rising NIP, Kitty.
Most definitely. NIP, I looked at their track record. It really looks like my solo queue match history where they're win-loss for the past 5 series, but hopefully they're going to break that as they just came off a win. So hopefully for this match up against TT, I mean, they have a lot to prove, bringing in 2 players, which is in one XN and Xiao Huangren, so they have a lot of shoes to fill, to say the least.
They do indeed, but we're hitting the riff for our Super Sunday. As we get to it, it is Thunder Talk Gaming in the home arena of the Ninjas in Pajamas. See if the home arena crowd will give NIP that buff. You got no way out, and that scream at the beginning didn't give you enough energy because Shadow flashes and your steadfast presence is unmovable. You got the all out on Invincible here, but Invincible says he wants to take the fight. The last needlework doesn't hit, but Shadow shows up, and that's a thumbs up from the jungler of NIP.
For this roster, but we'll get another look. Really amazing flash E coming out of Angel where Yucal wasn't able to react to this. I can kind of see Yucal trying to bait out that he had that dash available, but a really nice flash W coming out of Shadow as well, just to deny that extra bit of survivability or any hopes that Yucal had of getting out of that mid lane.
Come check it says, oh, you're doing it. Well, let's fight then. As you got a little bit of trouble brewing, NIP pounce onto Yucal, and TT's out of there because they got Keeper's Verdict. Oh my god, NIP are domineering this early game. It's only 8.5 minutes in.
Yucal's looking a little bit shaky on this Azir. I think I saw a failed combo out of this.
And we'll actually get a replay of that in terms of how Shadow aggressed onto TT.
To be fair, TT did have the solo laners moving first, but this Poppy ultimate out of Shadow 2 people out of the fight and leaving Yucal as that lonely Azir. I mean, he had an escape, but I feel like
They got movement from Yucal for TT first here in the mid lane. The Angels are going to try to join up. That's a nice double knock up there, and Flash already coming out from TT is now they will back away. They've already lost Yao Yao. That Emperor's Divide means they are headed away from that fight. Dragon goes to NIP. It's really looking good for NIP so far. They're utilizing the strength of their composition and just pressing at the throats of TT. But Invincible may be in some trouble here. All out under the turret. You didn't think that there was going to be a crazy monkey in the bush either. And that's a big pick out for TT. They finally get a kill here. Looks like they might want to move in for a fight. They will not give this one up for free. Engage goes in preemptively from NIP, though. They try to get a big Keeper's Verdict here. Zhuo getting low. He flashes, though. That's kind of big. The Rift Herald reset means NIP are a bit hesitant. As Invincible needs to get out of the back of the Baron pit, and both teams walk away here, but Yao Yao had fallen.
Good Everfrost.
Oh. Zhuo gets caught by the Emperor's Divide, and that just means your support is gone. Keeper's Verdict comes out way too late. Should be Invincible continuously pushing this tier 2 as the back comes through from TT. That's Dragon #1 for them.
And that's TT thriving off playing from these chokes with the Wukong, with Yaya. I mean, Joy was just honestly caught out of position, but that means 2 towers into Invincible pockets. I mean, TT did secure this 3rd dragon if they want to deny this Gwen from taking anything else. But we'll get another look at this replay as Stro trying to get some vision onto the dot push, over pushed, and Yucal executing that wall onto this Nautilus. Just
what is the distance on that?
He was kind of playing with the hitbox of these walls. I mean, it worked.
The Calibrum shot, though. We got the reverse TP from Yucal. He wants to try to get a big engage. Doesn't get the angle, though. There's a TP now coming in from Invincible. The Emperor's Divide is all by himself. You got to protect the Emperor. He gets out of there, and they actually pick off Invincible. The knockback comes onto Zhuo, and TT take a huge fight, but now the answer back. Photic kills Yao Yao.
So many ultimates being thrown in this mid lane, but it does seem like NIP, they're finally going to be able to secure this tier 1 tower. Angel's looking for more. Now Invincible doesn't have that TP, so he no longer has that side lane pressure. As we take another look at what just happened, we have double TPs coming out of both Invincible and Yucal, but the difference is that this stopwatch held up so much time to stall NIP out, while Invincible, he TP'd into the whole mix of everything and got instantly focused down. But Angel, once again, being the hero of the moment, was able to pick up a straggler in this team fight, which was Yaya, I believe, with that charm, and it traded for a 1-for-1. But I think NIP, they still have first move for this Baron, for this Dragon. Photic does have the Inferno ultimate available, so Yaya needs to be very careful with how he uses his wall to protect his team, but like you've been saying, the hook connects.
Unstoppable though, Cyclone in. That's a 4-man depth charge Xiaohuan is out of there though, and eventually gets picked up by Photic, who still does a ton of damage. NIP end up getting a huge win just out of one pick, and it was onto the jungler. So that means Baron in the eyes of the ninjas in pajamas.
With this idea as Angel, once again, such a menace, but Xiaohuan, he is cooking, so we have to let him flank.
Man. Oh, Yao Yao, very, very low. I don't know if they have the health bar anymore to commit to this. Xiaohuan, he finds it on the back, gets the side clone. It's not enough. Moonlight Vigil right back for Photic. And NIP are ripping them apart. The all-out comes through. Photic gets caught, but the entire time it was that superhero in the top lane. It's Hoya making something happen for TT. Angel ends with a double kill, ends the dream that there was for TT, and the lead has skyrocketed here in game number 1.
NIP now looking for that mid inhibitor. They're not going to be able to end, as we do have timers coming up in 10 seconds for both the jungle and support of TT. But that was a sandwich within a sandwich, Mazel, as we had Xiaohuan looking for the flank, but they forgot that invincible on this.
It's a sandwich made out of sandwiches. Find a mental image of that and stick with it, because that's what we got here. This was an insane angle that turned up so wrongly for TT.
TT, they had the good idea of focusing down Photic as he's the AD carry, but there's an APC in Angel and Invincible, and they just have so much damage source. It is quite impossible to just have one person down and then say, yep, that's pretty much it. But Hoya trying as hard as possible with this Cassante pick, but sometimes when you're up against 3 carries, it's not enough.
We will come right back, but yeah, it resets the positioning of TT. Oh no, you get caught out here, Hoya. You cannot have that happen. And he's just gone. Your top laner's gone. Your bot lane, the answer to Invincible, is gone. Everything is going to tatters right now for TT. It's a Baron for NIP.
And that's the problem with TT's composition, is that yes, you have great scaling, but you need to also have an even early game, which is exactly what Shadow denied with this Poppy pick, with a strong 2-0 start, and letting that snowball into other solo lanes just became out of control. And now having 3 dragons and their second Baron, they're going to work towards that top side.
They have so much vision control on the top side too, though.
Photic
was by himself in mid lane. You can't be there. We're just getting picks back and forth. A TP was actually committed from UCal to clean Photic up. And that's the ADC for NIP gone, and one of their Baron buffs as well.
I don't even think TT have enough lockdown to really stop Invincible in this side lane. You see UCal trying to wrap around.
All right, they got the all out here. They're trying to catch him down. The mist makes her invincible, though, maybe a little bit. No, it's not enough. UCal gets the pick. In the end, NIP, they actually went on the backside of this fight to try to rout them. Moonlight Vigil goes wide. NIP, what is going on right now? You got flashes coming out, lightning crash from 1xN, hits those concussive blows, and TT pounds on an overextended NIP. Photic makes it out with his Gale Force. They are very close to getting run down here, trying to rejoin the team. A TT moving forward, can't hit the Ultra Shock Laser.
Timer once again, but Invincible, I thought he was able to get away, but Yayo being very cheeky with his Q, he flashed into the mist, and it did apply that passive onto this Gwen, and they were able to finally lock her down, while Xiaohuan baited the entire NIP roster to walk into their own base, so they were really overextended with their positioning, while Photic also missed that ultimate, so that was pretty big. Angel didn't have that ultimate from early, trying to catch the Wukong out of position, so 1xN picking up that kill. TT's composition is honestly slowly coming online. Look at Shadow! It's been stopped!
No, you can't! Hoya stops it every time at this point. That's been multiple fights in a row that the Keeper's Verdict hasn't been able to use.
Angel's trying to look for a wide flank, though. There is a pink ward. Invincible TPing towards the bottom side. He wants to end the game.
He wants to end the game. He's going for it. They got to buy some time. Baron goes to Shadow. That just means Invincible ends the game. There's no way UCal is sprinting to try to get away. There is no way they are stopping Invincible. And NIP, they take game 1.
Invincible sprints towards that bottom inhibitor just like the cameraman sprinting, because we all did not expect Shadow to steal that Baron away from TT and take this game 1.